You're all set, Mark.
Okay. So Monique, will you please start with the public notice?
We didn't have any requests to move any agenda items, and we also didn't receive any public comments or inquiries for this meeting.
Okay, great. So I will now call the meeting to order and would like to make sure we have a quorum. We need 3 people for a quorum, so I'm present. John, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm present as well.
Okay, and Renee?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a quorum. Monique, will you do a roll call?
Yes, Mark Mansfield,
Yes?
John Fernandez,
Yes,
Renee Heuser.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, Monique, I'm messing this up a little bit. Any requests for agenda adjustments?
No requests at this time.
Okay. So Monique, do you want to see if there's anybody called to the audience?
We didn't receive any public comments or inquiries for this meeting.
Okay. So let's move to approval of the minutes of the March 6th meeting. So I will be looking for a motion to approve in a second.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes for March 6th.
Do we have a second?
I wasn't a member at the meeting on the 6th. Am I able to second or?
Okay, I have talked to legal. Technically, I can second. I prefer not to, but I will, just pragmatically. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? So Christina, could you go over the financials? And I'm going to make a request unless somebody else wants to do it different. If you could go very, very high level on January, February, and then in detail on March. You can't hear? So I don't know if anybody's been looking at the chat. Her speakers are not working. She dialed in, but she's muted because she's being treated as an attendee. So is there any way we can unmute her so she can speak to us?
Christina, you are unmuted on our side. She's unmuted. Christina, can you dial in with the information on the email? She just calling it.
So while Christina's getting connected, I'd like to move to Welco and turn the time over to Andrea.
Well, thank you. Well, happy spring and happy Melanoma Monday. So if you guys didn't know that, today is Melanoma Monday, so we should all be checking to make sure that we are cancer-free. So if you want to go ahead and do the PowerPoint up, let's go ahead and start with that. And Monique can share her screen. She hasn't, unless Monique, you want me to just put it up on my own. And she's still muted.
You should be able to do so, Andrea. You're good to go. I've
Okay,
made
very
that
good.
option available. Mhm.
Okay, very good. All right, well, let me grab that. So really the cause of for me coming in today is to talk to you about the Wellness Incentive Program, because we're not actually completed yet with our actual fiscal year. So we won't be done until the end of August. So we start ours out on the 1st of September. So with that, I would like to just really kind of talk to you a little bit about the Wellness Incentive Program, since we have finished that up so far. And that was the request from Rosie to go ahead and share that information with you. I did forward a summary report as well, just kind of give you a highlight of exactly how we're doing and what we're doing. So let me minimize this really fast, make sure I am on your screen. And that, and then minimize this one. Okay, so did you already let me share it?
Yes.
Okay. Share my screen. Here we go. Okay, so can you guys all see the PowerPoint slide that shows your 4 amazing health coaches?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, so with that, we have not changed since the last time I got to speak with you guys. We still have our same amazing coaches, and we're still utilizing the same labor out in the field. So each health coach has split up our quadrant of schools and sites. So they usually work about 20 hours a week, serving over 6,000 employees with TUSD. We are still serving both virtually and on site, more on site every single day, but that virtual option is still available because we can actually reach more people by virtual. And thank goodness for virtual, even with WIP. And I think that was the reason. WIP, I'm sorry, is your Wellness Incentive Program. It's just the acronym for your Wellness Incentive Program. So this kind of gives you an idea, still our main focus, like I shared with our team earlier this week, are still high areas of focus is stress management. Each year we theme our year as based off of what the pulse we're actually feeling out in the field. And so this year, our goal was just take 5. That's all we want you to do is just take 5 for wellness. It could be take 5 extra minutes of sleep, take 5 extra movements of activity, take 5 extra deep breaths throughout your day. But we're still finding that stress management is still our #1 talked about wellness topic to date. So with that, like I said, we have broken up the locations to make it fair, and so we can outreach as many to the employees as we possibly can. And then also the coaches have not changed this year versus last year. This is an area that we have not been able to fulfill, but we hope to be able to work on this a little bit more this summer, just because we just really didn't have a lot of the support because there were so many other needs from air conditioning going out within the district. So we kind of took the back burner to getting this up and running. So hopefully this summer, a lot of our work orders can go ahead and get completed so we can get this open. This here is our, what we would call our little wellness educational center. This is where we've actually put some money back. We put $10,000 back to help actually build this. So hopefully we'll be able to get this up and running before the school year of 2023-2024. But again, we are still waiting on facilities to really help us get everything done there, from ceiling tiles to the air conditioning in the workout room. So we really don't want to do anything big and grand yet until we know for sure that it's up and running. We do have 2 health coaches actually servicing out of this location. So then that way we're trying to drive many employees there so they can kind of get an idea. This is where you can meet still privately, conveniently. And then hopefully when the workout room gets done and the workout classes get started there, and also the lectures get started there, there'll be more people that will take part in that location. Does anybody have any questions about the Hallenstein Astral Tucson Wellness Education Center? All right, you guys are Oh, wait a minute, there are several chats. So hold on, let me pull up the chat window at the same time. Okay, nothing for me. Okay, so let's go ahead and go on to the next slide. And the next slide is, again, we haven't finished out our calendar year as of yet, but that's how we actually drive our wellness program. It's done electronically and hard copy. We distribute out 2,500 every year, and then the rest of them are all done via getting them access through the website. Our website is still one of the #1 tools of the way to communicate with the employees, is driving them back there. We will have our wellness fair at the beginning of the school year, and plus we still have mobile on-site mammography, flu shots, and COVID vaccines, which again, we were able to meet all of our numbers for the mobile on-site mammography, so we had no added fees this year. We maxed out at every location except for one, but because we over booked at another location, they did not charge us for that one location that we did not max out, only by 3. Flu shots, again, continue to just be a great just service item. And then by having the boosters and COVID vaccines there at the same time has always been such a huge benefit for the employees. And we still see a large participation in that. At the end of the year, we will give you all of these numbers on exactly how many people participated this year versus last year, or if you want it from conception, I can do that as well. We actually had the Live Talks. These are educational programs, but this is something I really want to talk to you guys a lot about, or to kind of keep this in the forefront of your mind. By being able to participate in the professional development learning days, ELT or BLTs, or PDTs, everybody has a different acronym for them, but we're able to serve over 1,000 employees every lecture. So like for the whole day. So we were able to present this year 4 times, and we were able to reach out to over 1,000 employees each time. I cannot tell you how crucial this is to getting the word out, and how we have actually seen an uptake in our new participations in one-on-one health coaching because of the professional development learning days. So I applaud PD department, and I thank them for inviting us and letting us be a part of their curriculum. And I look forward to even next year. So we actually have a meeting tomorrow of the recap of the last one. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And then, of course, we actually are offering our fitness classes still. And I think this really helps when we're looking at our WIP program, our Wellness Incentive Program, is when we do see, or we're talking to someone about their actual outcomes, is driving them to more movement. And by offering it virtually and on site, again, a huge benefit. Unfortunately, we have some changes within like construction issues with some locations. That's why we've decided to go ahead and continue to offer them virtually as well. That way, if an employee has been regularly going to a class and unfortunately that class got canceled because of a construction issue or a movement issue, then we can turn them automatically onto our virtual classes. Well, now this is what I really came to talk to you guys about. It's a Wellness Incentive Program, because that actually does come out of your trust. As you guys know, that if the employee participates, which they actually have to do quite a bit to be able to get the actual $300 incentive towards their HSA or their PPO plan. So we finished out so far this year, because remember, the appeals process ended yesterday. So employees still had until April 30 to fill out an appeals form and to meet that requirement based off of that appeals. So for an employee to participate and to earn the $300, they need to get their annual well visit. They need to complete their annual blood work. They need to complete the WellCOAS wellness survey. And then they need to complete 2 out of the 8 wellness activities. That's from anywhere between participating in a challenge, maybe getting home exercise equipment, participating in a disease management program, viewing the Life Talks for educational. So they have a lot of options, plus non-smoking. If you're already a non-smoker, you can fill out the tobacco affidavit, and that would also qualify. Then all of that information actually gets turned into verified by WellCOAS, and then we consolidate that information for you. So this year we had total qualifiers with 605. With the total appeals qualified through 4/18 of 23, we have 16 more people that will add to that total. And we're right now approximately holding out on 20 that has filled out the appeals form but have not completed the full appeals. But again, their last day was as of yesterday. So that number will continue to grow. So when we're looking at this program, we had an increase over last year. I did share a summary report with you that has it since we actually started the program to kind of show you where we've actually seen the spike. We did not hit our highest year at 767. Some of this could be turnover, new employees, getting on the benefits, not really understanding the process. Maybe the value isn't high enough. Who knows? Who knows what it could be? But we hope to put some more data together for you by the end of our year to show you exactly how many of that 600 and we're going to call it now 21 employees actually are repeat. How many of those actually, looking at their biometrics, did you show an improvement or not? So we're going to deep dive into the 621 employees just to find out a little bit more information about them. How many of those actually have participated every single year? And I would like to put together a survey to send out with your approval and having, of course, John and his team review it, and of course, Valerie review it as well, of asking the employees, is this something that is a benefit to them in some form or fashion? Not telling them that we're going to do anything different with it, but do they find value in this? Hopefully they do. Of course, we're still sending out all of our supplements. We use Jorgensen Brooks a lot. We should actually get stock in this company for how many people we've turned over to this company. One of the things that I would still like, which I asked for even last year, we don't know how many people are really utilizing it. We can only take the information in which that we receive from the employees and saying, yes, I called, no, I haven't. How many of those employees are really reaching out to their primary care doctor? How many of those employees are medicated, non-medicated? So I really look forward to seeing more data from the actual trust on how we can utilize that outcomes to actually know if our program is working, number one. Number two, find out, are we driving them to the right place at the right time? And then, of course, we're still using Real Appeal. Unfortunately, we're not getting a lot of hits with Real Appeal based off of the data I do get from Real Appeal, which I appreciate. But when it fits within a health coaching session, we are still driving employees to try to participate in that as well. And then, of course, we always turn them over to the benefits department and, of course, their primary care doctor, just in case if there's something that we don't know, well, we don't know. So we let them actually search it out through the benefits or with their primary care doctors, and especially if it's beyond our scope of work. So that's pretty much what I have for you today. I hope that I can come back, like I said, in September when you come back after your summer break to give you all of the totals for the whole year. We currently have a challenge getting ready to start for our summer challenge. We're continuing to keep the fitness classes going all summer long. And of course, we're really working on the Hallenstein to get that up and running before school actually starts again. Any questions? Come on, guys, give me at least one. Oh, there's something in the chat. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I think it's really just poor Christina. She's still trying to get on. So,
Andrea, thank you so much. Great report.
You are so welcome. And then Monique, I don't think that unless you guys have anything else for me, I don't think I'm really needed for the rest of the night. Do you want me to go ahead and stay on, or should I caboodle?
You are welcome to leave, but you are welcome to remain. Your choice.
Thank you, Andrea.
You are so welcome. You guys have an amazing summer. Stay cool out there. Remember, May is melanoma month, so please make sure that you check your skin, especially you guys. It's noted out there that men have a higher risk of skin cancer than women do. So get out there and get checked. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you.
So have we made any progress with Christina?
No, not as of yet.
Okay. So let's move to the next item, the stop loss quote, and that's Tom and Elvis.
It's gonna be Jameson, actually. So I just need to change it in here.
Sorry about that, Jameson.
No, that's okay. That was like a change that we had just recently. So
because Tom is on the call and I don't see Jameson.
There's two Toms on there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is the younger Tom. So, and you're muted, Tom.
Okay.
Tom Jr.
Tom Jr. Yes, that's right.
The better looking
Okay,
person.
so Who's ever going to do this, please take it away.
Tom, I do not, Senior Tom, I do not have the renewal to present.
And I can share a screen, right?
Yeah, you can share. Maybe.
Yeah, you should be able to, Tom.
Everybody see this?
Yes.
There we are.
Okay, yeah, I mean, the renewal came in with the current carrier at 7.09%, which we're increase, which we're recommending that you that the trust board take. We budgeted approximately 25% in the stop loss, or excuse me, in the fixed expense number we put in the estimate when we did the underwriting. No new lasers, 50% rate cap, so that's the max it would increase for next year. No change in the coverage, $1 million individual specific deductible, 1218 coverage. And you can see the composite rate is $672 for next year, and it's currently at $6.28. That's EBT. Jameson, anything?
Yeah, I mean, just to add some quick notes, when you have such a high stop loss, like you all do at $1 million, that leverage trend normally is in the 25 to 30%. When I say leverage trend, we're talking about what the actual percentage of increase. They're seeing more $1 million claims now than they ever have before. And so that leverage trend we're seeing at those higher thresholds. So at a 7% renewal, that keeps you at least in par with trend, but much lower than expected.
So what is option one?
So option one is partner re. They are just another stop loss option. So you all go through stealth, and there is an option out there with a reduction of about 8%. So if that is, they don't have, they haven't put a laser in, but they're the only one that's firm right now is the actual Voya. So that's why the recommendation is to go with what's firm. And
Correct. Yeah, I mean, the other ones still need to review claims and what have you before they're going to commit to anything. So it's really not.
yeah, they're just going off their tables right now.
And they did send it out to 15 different carriers. 10 rejected it, 5 quoted on it. And then with Voya, we had them extend it until this meeting is done, but they are only extending it until May 3rd for you folks to make a decision on if you're going to proceed forward or not.
Okay. So are there any other questions or comments on this? Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the recommendation and a second.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the recommendation of Voya. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Hey, Tom, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but did you guys, I don't know, we're already really high, but if could you go even higher?
On the individual stop loss reimbursement level of $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm going to let Jameson comment on that because I think he'd probably tell you to go lower.
Okay. That's good enough.
You're muted, Jameson.
I'm Tom, and I'm muted all the time. Yeah, at the end of the day, when you're looking at stop loss, you guys have won the stop loss by far, not being at the recommendation would be around 400,000 for a group your size. But being at $1 million, and you guys have the reserves to handle the volatility that would create having a higher stop loss. So that, someone just changed my name. Thanks. So yeah, definitely good question, but it wouldn't really, I mean, we can't really reduce much by going much higher because you have to have $1 million claim, right, to get any kind of cost shift. And even though a group your size has not seen those $1 million claims, they still can happen, and it just wouldn't give us much of a reduction. You're kind of at that max reduction.
Okay, that's the question you're gonna hear from me every year, but
Sounds
that's
good.
great. Okay, any luck with Christina?
Maybe. Can you hear me now?
Oh, great,
Yes.
Christina.
We figured it out in the background, guys. So everyone, so thank you.
So Christina, did you hear my suggestion about high-level January, February, detailed March?
Yes, that was what I was going to do anyway. I was going to show you the comparative for each of those months and then just go through March in its entirety. Is that okay?
Perfect.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Hang on, in all the commotion, I've lost my files. Okay, can you see the July through December?
Not yet.
Okay. Technology is wonderful but frustrating at the same time.
Christine, I put them on my computer. Do you want me to put them on there?
I can do it as well if you want to send them over.
I'm not quite sure why I can't get it
I actually
shared.
have them, so just give me a second. Is this what you need, Christina?
Yep.
Okay, you're all set.
Okay, hang on. Okay, if we go to page 4 of 10. There you go. Okay, this is January. Do you have December's?
This is what Rosie sent me that you had sent her January, February, and March.
Okay, I had also sent her December.
December? Okay. Let me see if I have something on that, but that's what we had for this meeting. That's what's in our agenda. But let me look, okay?
Oh, agenda, we can, if
Okay.
you don't have December in the agenda, we can go ahead with January.
Okay.
Yep, we'll start with January, Christina.
All right, so this is the comparative of January prior year to the current year. The revenue is pretty much the same between 2 years. The medical claims, which includes the RX and the value-based performance, the stop-loss fees and out-of-network, is about $900,000 lower than it was the prior year. The IBNR adjustment that occurred in December was also $688,000 lower than the year before, which came to a total reduction in expenses from this year compared to prior of almost $1.6 million. That gave us a loss to date in January of $352,000. prior year was 2.2 million, so actually 1.8 million less of a loss. If you can go to the next page. The prescription rebates are a little bit higher than the year before. They're 300,000 higher. The losses on the change in value of investment, which again are only a paper loss because they're all CDs, so they'll always come in at face value. But that was up 42,000. That gave the other income an increase of 333,000 over the year before. Our net revenue over expenditures year to date was almost $2.2 million more than the year before. Looking at the statement of the change in cash flow and taking into account ending cash balance after reserves, 19.5 million for the current year, almost 14.8 for the year before. So our cash balance after taking into account reserves was 4.8 million more than the year before. In terms of large claims in the month of January, there were 4 of them that came to $420,000 combined. You can go to February.
What page?
4 of 10. Okay, in the month of February, again, the total income was only slightly higher than the year before, $319,000. The medical claims and prescription, all the medical-related items, were about $600,000 less than the year before, combined with the IBNR adjustment that brought it down from previous year. We had $1.3 million less in revenue or expenditures than we did the year before, which gave a net operating income this year of a loss of $364,000, and last year was almost $2 million, so we were up $1.6 million. If you go to the next page. Again, there's not much change in the other income. We're up about $384,000, mostly related to the prescription rebates. That gave a net revenue year to date of almost 1.9 in the current year, and last year it was a loss of about 100,000. So we're up $1.2 million in the current year. Looking at the cash balance after reserves, we have $19.5 million through February. Last year it was almost $15 million, so we were up $4.5 million in the month of February. In terms of large claims, we have 3 large claims combined that came to $358,000. And then for the month of March, let's start from the beginning on March. Okay. Our balance sheet. We have cash in bank of 15.6. United Healthcare finally closed out our Imprest account and refunded all the funds they were holding, so we only have an Imprest account with UMR now. Investments with Wells Fargo, which is the money market and the CDs, are $6.8 million. That gives total assets of $22.5 million approximately. Change in value of investments, since inception, it's down $284,000, but again, this is a paper entry. That gives us $22.2 million in assets. Next page, please. On current liabilities, the accounts payable is $566,000 approximately. The IBNR adjustment up through March was $3.7 million. We have our equity and our reserves, which gives liability of 22.2 million. Next page. Revenue expense for just the current month of March and year to date, almost 2.9 million in premiums and other income. Total expenses were 3.9. The IBNR adjustment brought up the cost to $600,000. That gave us a net ordinary loss of $1 million. A small amount of prescription rebates. We had an extraordinary item, which was a U.S. court fraud settlement that had to do something with bariatric medications that they were claiming were going to help people, and so that ended up in U.S. court. We received $37,000. It was a class action. I don't know, Tom Elliott, do you have a little bit more information on that or not really? Because the checks came to Valley and they sent them over to us.
I don't recall. You'd be amazed how many of those class action prescription drug suits are hanging out there. I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure it crossed my desk, but I don't recall.
Okay, so that's the extraordinary item that we received. Then unrealized change in value of investments up almost $15,000. That gave total income of $60,000 and a month to date loss of $971,000. Year to date through March, our net income was $925,000. Next page. This is the comparative between up through March of this year to March of last year. The revenue, again, the total income, not much of a difference in that, only $424,000. The medical claims were only $118,000 less than the year before, and then the change in the IBNR was up $34,000, not much of a change. So total expenditures, virtually no change from this year to last. So our net ordinary income this year was $1.4 million loss. Last year was a $1.777 million loss, a $381,000 difference. On the next page, our prescription rebates were $2.3 million. Last year, through this time, they were almost $3 million, so they're down about $653,000. Not too much change in the other items other than the change in value of investments. Paper entry. Net revenue over expenditures year to date are $924,000. Last year they were $980,000, so virtually identical to last year. Looking at our ending cash balance after reserves, we have $18.7 million in the current year. Last year it was $17.6 million, just an increase of $1.1 million over last year. The next page is just a summary of the supplemental information. At the time that I published this, the Pima County hadn't posted their March interest rate. They sent it to me Monday, and it hadn't changed, so it was at 3.3% still. Next page. This is the statement of cash flow. So our net income to date was $925,000. Items that don't affect cash are accounts payable and due from TUSD, payroll taxes, change in the investments, and the IBNR adjustment. So total adjustments that don't impact cash were $751,000. That came to net cash provided by operations of $1.6 million, and that proves out our beginning cash and investments of $20.8. And then when we take into account the non-cash items, it's $22.5 million. Next page. This is just a listing of investments and a schedule at the bottom. In 23, we have one more investment that's going to mature at $240,000. And then the rest of the investments are maturing over 24 and 25 and 26.
And Christine, if I remember, as it rolls off, we're putting it with the county.
Yes, and we're just automatically doing that, right? We don't need to present that to you as it occurs,
Right.
if I recall correctly.
That's correct.
Okay. The next page is statistical. So up at the top is just a high-level summary of total revenues and then expenditures. Then you go down, the average member count was 4463. Last year it was 4442, not much change. A graphical presentation of the membership. The average cost per member per month this year is expenditures over revenue of 41.61. Last year it was 2261, and a graphical representation of that. The next page is the expenses incurred per member per month. It jumped quite a bit in the month of March compared to prior months and to last year. Taking a 3-month average, last year it was $598.53. This year it was $747.07. But if you take a 6-month average, last year it was $628.08, and this year it's $672.14. Some of that's timing. Any questions on the financials? And March had 4 large claims totaling $366,000. So we've had a few large claims coming in over the months too.
So Christina, thank you. I appreciate all this information. That's great. I guess congratulations to Tom and Jameson. It looks like actuarially the projections are in line, and I guess congratulations to the school district. It looks like we got a pretty good roll going with the employees so far, knock on wood.
Well, we'd certainly love to take any credit, but that would have been done by our prior consultant.
So any other questions or comments on the financials?
Yeah, I have a question. I just want to confirm, yeah, and I wasn't here, I don't know if it was addressed in a prior meeting, but the whole situation where the, where we had an increase in reserves due to a double payment issue or some sort of additional payment issue where you know, I guess that resulted in the excess funds that we were able to use to relieve next year's employee increases. Can we just get confirmation that that was all resolved? I just want to make sure from my own recollection. Maybe Ricky, I know Ricky's on, but
I mean, it was resolved, yes. It was essentially what we discovered is a double collection of HSA. So we were able, the HSA amounts that were the district's portion that is contributed to the employees was incorporated in the administrative charge, the per employee per month. But then we were also deducting it from the fund where the employee is paid from. So if they were like a Title I employee, we were deducting that contribution. So essentially, we were taking both contributions and putting them in the trust, but only distributing one to the employees at HSA, and the other money just hung out. So that stopped in the next plan year. That amount is no longer in there. And so we will continue to deduct directly from the fund, you know, the HSA amount applicable to that employee to eat away that balance and not continue to do the essentially double collection. So
yeah, I mean, I just wanted to recall that for the purposes of reviewing the financials, that should, you know, that issue that itself has already been addressed and corrected for
Yeah,
future
cash gap
periods.
should start to shrink
Okay.
in fiscal year 24 as the district's contributions and the employee contributions aren't collected and the cash is making up the difference for the premium per month.
Okay. Okay, great. I just want that clarification.
Okay.
So anything else on the financials? So I'm looking for a motion to approve the January, February, and March 2023 financials.
So moved.
A second?
Second,
We have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye.
aye.
Renee, you're muted.
Aye.
Thank
Apologies.
you. Okay, the motion passes. And so the next item is the next meeting date. And Monique, I believe it is September 18th.
That is correct.
Okay, and can you send out a placeholder for people so we can get it on our calendars?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, and then I have a question. The district held a meeting on alternate funding for the trust. I was not able to make that, and I apologize. Is that a topic we need to get down on a future agenda?
I'm not sure if we're talking about the same thing. I know there was a meeting that I attended that had to do with accountable health organizations as an option for consideration as we look ahead to a new RFP for our medical insurance provider. It is an option, as we head into that time frame for looking at the new RFP and discussing its scope and so forth. I did want to make to let you know that we had a couple of meetings. We do want the Valley to be very involved in those meetings going forward and in doing due diligence on those options, but all in the direction of helping to ensure we have an RFP that is designed with our intentions to find good options for our employees in the next round of benefits. So I'm happy to brief you, but I do think we do want to have that discussion as part of the looking ahead to the new RFP.
Okay, so it sounds like it will arrive at the proper time. I just wanted to make sure that if you needed or wanted to discuss it with the trust, we got it on the agenda, and it sounds like when it's time, it will be on there. So,
well, I mean, again, this is my first official meeting. I know that the next meeting is scheduled for September, and as you know, on our minds as on the trust, and looking ahead to the next benefits year and what that'll look like without the funds available to cushion some of these increases that have been experienced over the last 2 years. So we're looking ahead to try to see what the scenario will look like, and of course, Valley will be relying on Valley's advice and expertise. And then the other thing is, of course, the RFP for medical will be a major item. So I'm not sure what the regular calendar schedule of meetings is, but I'll put that forward if there's a need for an earlier meeting to maybe talk through those issues prior to September. I'm open to it. Just let me know what your thoughts are on that.
you're a great segue, because our next meeting is 4.5 months from now, and if we don't need to meet, that's great. But if it does get to a point there's business that we need to conduct, I think we'd need to call a special meeting. But I think so far we've been able to keep up with everything, but if we need to, that's definitely a possibility, John.
Okay, we'll keep that open, and if so, and if there's a need, I'm sure we can discuss that option prior to September then.
Okay. And then this is my broken record pitch, but if any of you know somebody that really wants a chance to get involved with an awesome organization like TUSD, serve the community, we're still short 3 trustees. And so if you know of anybody that is interested, encourage them to go to the district website and apply.
Oh, will do.
So anybody else have anything? Okay, I'm looking for a motion and a second to adjourn.
So
Aye.
moved.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of the Monday and a great month. And it's not only melanoma month, now it's getting hot. It's remember to hydrate. So, okay.
Thank you. Have a good night.